Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today I'm going to show you how I made this nature journal page in my Stillman & Byrne Nova Series beige sketchbook. And this is a sketchbook I bought for full price at an art store, and I am just trying to find a way to love it because honestly, I haven't, but I think this may be the turning point where I find the best uses for this book. And I'm going to start off using this discontinued product by Derwent. This is called, they're called the Art Bars, and a viewer had sent me a set of these because I think he's hoping that I have more clout with Derwent than maybe I do, and then I could convince him to re-release these. I don't have that much clout. There's a few things I'd like Derwent to bring back. Also the Aquatone pencils, those were so good. But anyway, I decided to play around with these for this project because I don't know, I just felt like being kind of just loose and sketchy, and I haven't really played with these too much, so I wanted to just use them some more. They're very similar to the Neocolor 2 crayons by Caran d'Ache. I would say they're a little softer, a little bit more crumbly, opacity wise about the same, but they're going to give you that same effect of kind of like gouache in a stick form or like tempera in a stick form. They seem to be fairly opaque, and they reactivate really well. They're a very soft product. In fact, they also remind me a lot of the Stabilo Woodies, and almost like a water-soluble oil pastel, but they're a little bit more waxy and opaque. They're very easy to use, I have to say, and I love the pastel tones because they seem to be a lot lighter than the pastels I have in the Caran d'Ache Neocolors and in the Woodies, so I think that will be a really great addition. And I'll probably will end up storing them with my other water-soluble crayons, my artist quality ones, just because they'll work really well with that. Now, I didn't do the entire piece with these. I honestly, when I got started here, I didn't know what I was going to make. And I think that's part of what I really liked about this project was the spontaneity and kind of deciding as I go. Because this paper is so smooth, I struggled to layer on more with the crayons, so I figured I would go and get my water-based acrylic markers. These are the Artex brush acrylic markers, and they've got a nice soft nib, and I knew it wasn't going to scratch up the crayons, and I would be able to layer that on top. Plus, because they're opaque, the lighter tones will show up against the tone tan paper. The fun thing about working on a tone tan or toned gray or any sort of toned paper is that you've got your middle value kind of there, and so you can add shadows and you can add highlights, but you can actually end up with kind of a fleshed out, finished looking piece without a ton of work. Now, this took me about an hour to do, all said and done, and I ended up working on it in different stages because after I did the acrylic markers here, I didn't know if it was done. I just kind of left it on my table, and I went and, made supper and hung out with my family, and then I was remembering that it was trash day the next day, so I ran downstairs to empty my studio trashes, and then I thought, oh, I know what I want to add to this. And so sometimes you just got to leave a project out on your table and then those ideas will come. And so the idea I had was that, well, I was working from one of the photos I took on my morning walk, and I thought, oh, this would be great for a nature journal, like a nature journaling layout, And so I remembered I had this big field notes stamp from Tattered Angels, like, I don't know, 100 years ago. I don't know, it was a long time ago. That company's not even in business anymore. And I thought that would be so perfect to stamp there. And then as I was looking through my stamps, because I store my rubber stamps in binders by theme. So because that set had like dragonflies and stuff, it was in my bugs and butterfly section. And then I started looking through that binder, and I had this other set that had these cool, like that cool collage there on the left that I stamped upside down, but don't worry, we'll fix it. And then I thought, well, I've got my basics from my collection with Craft Stash, the script and this kind of distressed burlap texture here. I'm like, I can use that as well, because that pretty much goes with everything. And I was just loving it. I'm mixing stuff that I've loved, that I've had for years. I'm mixing brand new stuff that I designed. I'm mixing discontinued product with current product. And I think that's where the magic happens in our art stash. Now, I'm using Ranger Archival ink, which is waterproof, but on top of that waxy art bar, it didn't want to dry, so I just wiped it right off, which is great because then I was able to let my illustration there stay in the forefront. I decided I wanted to add a little color to some of the stamping, so I'm just very gently coloring into the art bar and spreading it out like a watercolor. So with these art bars, if you're using the darker colors, they're more transparent, and the lighter colors are more opaque, so I was able to cover up the lettering in the stamp that I stamped upside down. And then I was also able to tint the field notes stamp without it like covering it up, being too opaque, because I used the darker colors, which end up having less white in them, so they're more translucent. So, I mean, a product like that where you can use some of them dark, some of them light, I think it's very versatile. I'm kind of bummed out that I found out, well, I guess I knew the art bars existed back when they were current, but the fact that I know about them now and I can't get a full set is kind of a bummer, but I'm really grateful for the ones that I have, because the thing I love about Derwent products is they tend to put the most useful colors in the smaller sets, and as the sets get bigger, then it's got the more specialized colors, but the ones you're going to use the most tend to be in the smaller sets, so I'm very thankful for that. So probably the 24 colors I would use the most are in this set anyway. And it was really fun. I didn't really feel like there was a color I needed that I didn't have either, because I could overlap and mix colors too. So, you know, and oftentimes the smaller set's better because it limits your choices and then therefore makes you more creative. Now these stamps, oh my word, I wish I could still find these. I bought these on Amazon probably like 5 years ago, and they're like these little postmarks, and they have botanical designs in them, and they are so beautiful, but I can't find them. I'm glad I bought both sets when I did, because there was like, I think it was like 2 sets of 6 little tubes, and each tube has like 3 designs in it. Or maybe it was 2 sets of 4. I can't remember, but they are so beautiful, and they're just a perfect little accent to a botanical artwork or card or journal page. And that's a little postmark canceling thing from my new stamp set. So see, if you buy things you like, and obviously I design things I like because I get to design them, they'll go together. So something you like today, you can add it with something you liked 10 years ago, and chances are there's going to be enough commonality that they'll work together. So don't just get rid of a product because nobody else is using it anymore. If you like it, you'll find a way to use it again because it'll be part of your style. Sometimes we can't really pin down what our style is, but when you start looking at your collection, maybe you do a little like a yearly declutter, or you just are tidying because you're not feeling very creative, you'll start to see things repeated. And those things that you see repeated kind of lend themselves to your style. Now here I was trying to use fountain pen over the art bars, but the art bars were just too slick. They were too waxy, and I couldn't get the ink to stick. So I had to go down a different route, but it's fun to try different things. It's fun to see what will layer up, what won't. There's a rule in oil painting called the fat over lean rule, but I think this really does apply to most things. And basically you use your leaner layers first, and then you use your fatter layers on top. So if you want to layer something up to be a really archival, you want those really slick, thick layers that you can't write on top of to be last. But that's not how I approach this. And, you know, you can find ways to circumvent that. And especially in a sketchbook, I'm not worried about selling this, or I'm not worried about anything fading. I'm just having a good time. So I don't have to worry so much about what I want to put in here. But if it was on like a canvas or something I was going to frame, I'd want to be really careful about the, you know, light fastness and all of that. Now the paint here is the Turner Acryl Gouache, and I'm getting ready to review them. I've done one painting in them. I'm liking it so far. I'm not the Acryl Gouache, I'm sorry. It's the Turner Design Gouache, which is their like opaque watercolor. And I really like this. I put some out in a palette to do a painting the other day, and I still had some left, so I gave it a spray, and it re-wet really well. And I try not to put too much out because I didn't want to waste it. Eventually, I want to use I am using this palette for gouache, but I would like to spread out the colors a little bit so that as I'm adding colors to it, I don't want to put out more than I'm going to use up in a reasonable amount of time, but I can like top off and add red to the red area and yellow to the yellow area and so forth and so on. But I just kind of had this all on one side so it would be on camera, because this is a huge palette. It's one of the Meeden color wheel palettes, and it's honking. So I just wanted to make sure that I could fit it in there and on the screen while I was painting. And here's what I love about the paper. What I'm starting to love about this paper that I didn't love at first is that because it's so smooth, I can go in with detailed strokes of gouache at the end. I can go in with stamping at any point, and I'm going to get a good impression. And I can also collage on this paper. Because it's so smooth, it's not going to be difficult to get things to adhere down flatly. Now the paper is a bit thin, and that was my biggest complaint with this paper. I love the color of it. I love how much is in this pad, and I like that it's a spiral bound so I can flip it completely flat like that. But I was not happy with the thickness. I prefer the Strathmore Tone Tan mixed media paper because it is thicker. It's almost like a cardstock, and this is 90 pound, but it's feeling a little bit, it doesn't feel like a 90-pound cardstock to me. It feels more like a 90-pound cover stock. But it doesn't wrinkle too bad. I did clip down the pages because the side wanted to curl up. It doesn't cockle too bad, but it does definitely bend. But that's my only complaint. I'm only using one side of the paper here. And I think that's going to be my strategy throughout this book, is just to use one side of the paper. And then I guess if I do decide that I want to take something out and frame it or scan it or whatever, then I'll be able to do that without any problem, without having to choose sides, basically. What painting do I want to keep? What painting do I want to be not showing in a frame? But yeah, I think I'm growing to like this paper a little bit more. It definitely wasn't a love at first sight type of paper. And after I bought it, I kind of regretted it and wished I just bought a Pat of the Strathmore mixed media paper and made my own sketchbook. But I am liking it. The more I'm using it, the more I'm liking it. And also, because it's not my favorite, it gives me a little bit more of a freedom, because I'm not worried about wasting my favorite paper. I'm just kind of like, I was kind of approaching this like, I just want to use it up, because I paid good money for it. I want to use it up. But now, really 3 or 4 paintings in, I'm really starting to like this a lot more. And I guess this is my 4th painting in on it. And I think that it's going to work pretty well, especially with these techniques. I'm going over with some gouache onto those little sections where I had stamped the stamp upside down, and just kind of blocking them in a little bit more, because I could still kind of see some writing through there. The art bars do not seem to be as quite opaque as a gouache, but again, I think it's partially because I'm on this paper that's really smooth, and I find with like pastel type products, I like paper that's got a little bit more roughness to it. But as far as a sketching medium, I really liked it, and I was able to, layer up and layer up and layer up, and I don't have pencil lines that I have to deal with, and it was a really fun experience. I think just having something without pressure, no pressure to, make the best use of this paper, no pressure to have something to share online, no pressure to have anything really, was the key to kind of pushing beyond a little bit of an art block that I had going on. And it turned out that I liked it, and I shared it anyway, but it definitely wasn't something I was thinking of when I was painting this. I had spent the day organizing pens and just kind of puttering around in my studio, and I also think that's a really healthy thing to do when you're feeling overwhelmed, because you can see things that you bought at different stages. You can hopefully become inspired by stuff that you've purchased in the past, and it's so much of a healthier way to deal with that than like browsing on Amazon or Michael's or Blick or whatever store you want to online, because it's a lot easier to buy a thing than it is to use a thing. So if you can get in the habit of looking through the stuff you already have instead of browsing online or going out window shopping, you're going to use the stuff you have. Now here I'm stamping something different, because, and this was from that same Paper Artsy set that that first stamp that I'm going over was from, but I liked it had the word beauty in it, and it had some like texture in there, so I just kind of stamped that down. Generally, I find the collage style stamps to be a little limiting, because I feel like all the fun's already done, but it can be really great for enhancing stuff. Now this is a sticker book. This is, I can't remember the company that makes it. Taschen, maybe? I can't remember. I can link to it. But they have a few different varieties of this book. Now, if I had been smart, I would have done some collaging at first, and I would have collaged with these butterflies, because the paper in the background matches. But I didn't, so I'm gonna have to trim the little halo out. That would be my biggest complaint about this book, is that the stickers have a border on them. And so I have to fussy cut them out. Somebody said you could do it on your scan and cut, but there's a reason why I don't want to pull this book apart to scan them on my scan and cut them out on my scan and cut. And we'll go into that in another video, but I've got a hack that I want to use this book for, so I've got to use up some stickers before I can do that. The other thing that I'm not too crazy about with these stickers is that the adhesive is really light. It's not very strong, which on the upside, you can move your things around a lot until you decide exactly where you want to put them. But as far as long-term adherence, I usually end up having to go in with a little bit of glue. Now this washi tape, it's another thing that I wish I could still find. Maybe it's back in stock on Amazon. I'll look, but I haven't seen it since I bought it. But it's little postage stamps, and there's different themes. There's like coffee, and there's a few botanical ones, and there's like Victorian type themes and fruit and flowers, and I just really like it. I use it in a lot of different projects, and there's so many on a roll, and it was like a set of 8 rolls that I bought, and it's probably a lifetime supply if the adhesive holds up. It's such a pretty little design. And if I had thought of that before I started the stamping, I would have put that down before I stamped the postmark and the little cancellation stamp, but I didn't think of it at that point, and I'm just letting this evolve. I'm using a fine liner. This is actually a Unipin fine liner to just add a few details. And yeah, I really am enjoying how this is coming out. I brought my reference photo back up again just to have a look as I was adding a few details. I'm using a white gel pen that's just about had it. I need to toss it and replace it, but I do have backups. I just don't like to have more than like one of each size gel pen open up at once, because they do have a shelf life. I feel like the timer starts as soon as you once you start using a white gel pen, the timer starts and you got to use it up before it goes bad. But and it was a little streaky, so I'm going back in with a lighter green Artex brush acrylic paint. I'll try to link to everything I used here that's still available. Obviously, not everything is. I can link to some substitutes if you're interested. But yeah, this was fun. This was fun. And obviously, look through your stash. If you have a water-based crayon, if you have water-based pastel, if you have gouache, you don't have to have the brands I'm using. That's the whole point of this. You don't have to have the stamps I'm using. You don't have to have anything that I'm using. Look through your stash and see what you have, because those things that you already bought, providing you bought them because you like them and not just because they were trendy, they're going to work because you're going to be making art that is in your style. And so, of course, the things that you've bought in the past are going to be your style. And I don't think there's much of a point of us all making art that looks identical. I think that our art should all look like us. Otherwise, things get really boring. There's a lot of artists whose work I enjoy and I love seeing. I love watching. I love sketchbook tours. Oh my word. I find them so inspiring. And I'm usually looking at art from artists that do not work the same way I do, but that's what I like. I like that it's different and it's new, and it's, you know, it might give me an idea to use a product that I have already. And that's what I find sketchbook tours do much more than like a haul or a unboxing or a review will do. Well, reviews do inspire me too to use stuff I already have if I'm watching a review of something I already own. But sketchbook tours do because it really gives you some ideas on how you might use those products. And I also love to see how people arrange their pages, and I love to see the messy, I love to see the neat, I love to see the refined, and I love to see the sketchy. I love it all. And yeah, I hope that this inspires you in that same way and that you will want to try it. I'm just adding a little drop shadow with this dark brown art bar. I hope it inspires you to get your supplies out and play with them, because I mean, it's just a piece of paper. This was paper I didn't even really like that much, and I'm so happy with how this came out. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed videos like this, please give me a thumbs up and maybe share it with a friend. That really helps the channel. And till next time, happy crafting. Bye.